Perfect. So we'll be teaching you basically what we see in the charts, how we see the charts, how to trade on our end, and basically, you could. We're not telling you to take the trades. I'm just saying this is what we see. You go with your gut feeling. If you want to trade with us, you could definitely just hit us up. My Instagram is at off the grid Chris or off the grid underscore Chris. And Jasmine, you can say your username if
Hi,
you want.
so I'm Jasmine. My IG is dearest dearest dot jas. Dearest dot jazz.
Awesome. So from here, we're gonna start at Jasmine's favorite pair, which is EU,
Mhm.
and we're gonna start off of if you see something different, Jasmine, you let me know.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So what I do is I usually start on the daily just to see what's the trend movements and what do I see and how we're gonna basically look at this trade together.
So,
So
Chris,
uh,
what kind of trading method do you use?
first off, sorry for the background. Well, the trading method I use a bunch of trading methods. I use imbalances. I use support and resistances. I use not really all the time of trend lines, but I do use trend lines at some point. I do also use some indicators, not really a lot of indicators. When I first started trading, I traded off of literally no indicators. I honestly didn't know much about indicators at all anyway. So I just looked at it through the just the visual in my eyes, and they told me just to play off the support and resistances, and that's what I'm. That's technically to this day I still that's what I still do. Honestly,
Okay. And do you like long-term trading or just short-term trading?
I don't do long term tradings only because of the fact that I love just looking at or finding 10 to 20 pips in a trade because it's not really about just finding 100 pips or let's say you want to get 1,000 pips. You could, but
Yeah.
for me, it's more of the lot size that you use depending on how much you want to get. So the same thing as you getting 100 pips and a 10 cents in this case, and me going for 10 pips at $100 for every movement is a complete different scenario the way I see it because at here we're looking at how much really can we make money off it, not just how many pips that we're going to try to gain, right? So it's more of a strategic game that we're playing. I love to scalp. Jasmine, are you a day trader or are you a scalper? Or are you what type of methods do you use?
I'm most definitely a scalper. And when it comes to indicators, in reality, I like to just naked trade, meaning that I don't like to have too many things on my screen because then, you get distracted by everything. I like to use maybe two indicators. I like the RSI, sometimes the alligator. But my main focus is charging up with trend lines because I like to trade, you know, the bearish markets or bullish markets. I like to trade with the trend. If it's going up, I would just wait for the next move until it crosses one of my trend lines to trade oppositely to that.
All right, perfect. So you guys heard it from both of our perspectives, the way we love to trade. Um, when it comes to Euro USD, would you like to show your screen to see how you trade, and I'll show them what I see in my screen? Yeah, it says presenting. I do see it. Yep.
All right, perfect. So this is your USD. So I can kind of show you the history and what I would do in during different situations. So basically, what I like to do right here, just looking at it naked, ignore the trend lines that you see on top of there. I can see different ways that I would trade, either buying or selling. So, for example, let's look right here in this area. Let's say we are right here and nothing from this point forward has happened just yet. The first thing that I will do here is go grab one of my trend lines and I would chart right here. So when I put trend lines, I like to look for at least 3 points. So if we take a closer look right here, we have multiple candles touching this line, about 5. So I know in this side of the trend line is a bullish market. You're not doing any selling while you're on this side of the trend line. Not until it crosses the trend line do you make a sell. So right here, you're only looking for buys. Don't even think about selling because it's a bullish market. So as you can see, we're on the hourly. I like to make my trend lines on the 4-hour or the 1 hour just to get an overview. But when it comes to looking for an entry point, I like to look at the 5 minutes. So let's go to the 5 minute and kind of try to find where we just were right now. Where were we, Chris? I think it just doesn't want to load over there. All right, let's just go back. But let me explain to you how I would do it. We were here in this situation. So basically, you would go into the 5 minute, and I guess we'll be right here, and you would see that it's coming close to your trend line. So now that we're on the 1 hour, we're looking at, okay, now we have to see if it's going to break the trend. So after it breaks the trend, make sure you don't go in immediately. You have to wait at least 3 candles that forms and closes outside the trend line before you decide to open a trade for a sell. After it's on this side of this trend line, on this side, you're in a bearish market. You're looking for sells only. And since I'm a scalper, I like to make quick moves. I like to be in and out because I can be rather impatient. And, it's not good to be impatient, but that's why I don't like to be in the market for too long. I go for either 5 to 20 pips. So around here, you would probably enter for your sell. And let's see how much pips it went down. It went down about 70 pips. I don't like to be too greedy because you never know what happens. I like to go for just 5, 10, 20. So right there, beautiful, clear. And as you can see, you can do this the opposite way. Now, since it's turned into a bearish market, you can do it the opposite way. Now, you're looking just sells. You're just looking for sells while you're on this side. And you have to wait until it crosses the trend line for you to put a buy order or a buy trade. So after you see that it's crossing the trend line, don't enter just yet. Wait until you see on the 5 minute 3 candles that open and closes on the opposite side. And then you're safe to put your buy. And this one went up 140 pips. And remember, don't be too greedy because you never know what happens. Like right here. It didn't, let's see, in this little bearish, it went up just 23 pips. That's exactly why you shouldn't be too greedy. Catch your 5 to 10 pips. I believe strongly, small pips, large profits. So that is just an example of the way that I trade. Also, it's very important to know which pair you're trading with because, for an example, EURUSD goes by London and New York Times, so they're more active during the early mornings, 1, 2, 3 to 11 a.m. And after that, they go into consolidation. For example, right here, you can see in the bottom, right here, you can see the time. Right here, it made these moves from 2 to 11 a.m. And then it went to a little consolidation throughout the day and started again at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Right here, it made these big moves from 7 to about 12 during the day, and then it started, I guess, just falling. But these major moves you are going to find during those times. Right here, you see a lot of consolidation during the day, and right here you see 7, 9 in the morning. That's just an example of the pair. It's very important to know which pair you're trading, to know what time is best for you to trade.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Really good stuff. All right, so I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Let me know when you see it. Okay.
Yes, I see a lot of screen. Yeah, very good. Mhm.
All right. So, for you new people who are going to be looking at our video, why you're gonna probably be asking why is my candles yellow and white? You have the choice of changing the colors if you wanted to, just to make it not so difficult on your end for you not to know what's going on. My yellow candles are upstreams, or in this case, bullish movements, and my yellow candles, of course, are downstreams, which was bearish movements. Okay,
Mhm.
so the difference between me and Jasmine and where you would find your pair as a new trader or even a trader that's been doing it for many years, I like to see it just on the dailies. Is reason why is because I want to see where the movements are going to really hit and where I'm going to possibly move. So in this case over here, I will be looking for nothing but bullish movements. In this case, it already touched the imbalance that I have over here. Imbalances are just basically money where it's supposed to be playing off from. And in this case, it already had its movement going upwards. So for me, in this case, I love to just look at one specific candle and just looking for that one candle that's going to be more than 20 pips. For me, again, like Jasmine was saying before, you don't want to be greedy either. You want to wait. You want to look specifically for just those 10, 20 pips, only because we are scalpers. We are not day traders. We are not looking to gain 1,000 pips in I don't know how long. We're just looking for those 10 to 20 pips. Okay, so I love playing off of imbalances. In this case, this is just basically an example of how I trade. And what I see here, imbalances are where the power of bullish and bearish movements, or in this case, that people are trading where they're not so sure where the market's going to move. In this case, you see how this one is actually a strong candle going upwards, but then it equaled out the strong candle to equal out this movement right here. And then it played again over here, but this is where the imbalance came in, where people bought still, and they still placed off of this over here, and it finally went down to create a solid candle going downwards, or in this case, a bearish movement. Sorry. So that's exactly what happened. It played off of this again, which touched over here, and it went all the way straight down. Right. So it's the same thing what I'm looking at here. So in this case, I'm looking just for that one candle. So now I go to the 4 hours. Right. Let me just reset my chart. If I look at the 4 hours, I still see those same movements, those same imbalances. Over here, of course, you're going to see a lot of consolidation. This was on the daily, where basically people don't know where it wants to move from. It's just consistently going sideways. You don't see where it's moving. Now, if it was here, for instance, knowing the fact that your strongest resistance is just a wall, or in this case, your ceiling. If we know that for a fact that the resistance is right here, right, and it basically wicks out. That's what this little thing right here is called. It's called a wick. When it wicks out, that means that people are now, or the trend is actually changing. So people are now going mainly for sells. It already passed its resistance. So now people are willing to see what's going to happen from here, whether it's going to keep on going up or whether it's keep on going down. In this case, that didn't happen. It just played off of this little imbalance that was right here. So this would have been my beautiful entry. I would have probably went touching on this line where it passed, or going a little bit further from there, knowing that it's going to wick down. In this case, that's exactly what happened. So if I was going from here, and let's say I place my trade over here, all I'm looking for is just those 20 pips. And as you can see, it fulfilled it. And if you could tell from far away, those 20 pips are absolutely nothing. But right here, just catching that alone could possibly be, depending on how much you're willing to risk to gain, could be possibly $1, $2, or even $10,000, depending on how much you're willing to risk. And that's why our methods between me and Jasmine, even though we play off of different methods, are using the same type of method in the same time. Only difference is I'm playing off of something different while she's playing off of trend lines. Now, experienced traders, I'm pretty sure you're gonna say, well, why does Jasmine use trend lines? That's Jasmine's method. If she's comfortable with using trend line, sorry, let her use trend lines. At the end of the day, that's her method. That's her comfortable, and she knows where the market is going to move right afterwards. For me, for instance, I love playing off of this, not because of the fact that I'm much more of an experienced trader, but only because of the simple fact that this makes sense to me the way trend lines make sense to Jasmine. Okay. So Jasmine has a lot of experience. People are gonna say, "Oh, but trend lines are for people who are brand new and this not to the third." I don't care about that. I care that if Jasmine takes those 20 pips, making $10,000 at the end of the day, she's happy. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's whatever, you're most comfortable with, of
Yeah,
course. And exactly, whatever makes sense to you. For me, especially with my pair, your USD, I feel like trend lines is a beautiful way to trade it because it does a very similar staircase pattern throughout the history of your USD. So I feel like, it kind of works out for me, and it's like, I guess, 9 out of 10 trades that you would get right. Because, of course, nothing in trading is perfect. You're never going to be perfect. No one really knows what's going to happen, but depending on your method, you know what works best.
correct. So going back to like I was telling you, we're just looking for those 20 pips, and just that 20 pips alone was cost to this little candle right here. This little candle right here. This little candle right here was the method of getting those 20 pips. Now I'm not saying I can go for 50 pips or even 100 pips or even wait till it gets all the way here. But again, why what's the purpose of me being greedy? I don't need to be greedy. I'm not looking to be greedy. At the end of the day, once if you're playing off of greediness, it could go the opposite way, like Jasmine's saying. And on top of that, you don't want to do something called revenge trading. Once you have lost and you already gained the lost trade from your trade, please don't go again making believe it's going to finally start dropping after here, or in this case, it's going to start going higher from here. Just because it broke the resistance doesn't mean it's actually going to keep on going up now. Okay, so my what I did was I placed off of levels of consult. No, sorry, excuse me, from imbalances. So in this case, right here was an imbalance. Why is this called an imbalance anyway? Even though there's solid candles over here, is because people still didn't know whether they wanted to place off of trades that are right here, which is the last resistance, or in this case, if it's going to keep on going up again to touch over here to go down. In this case, they didn't do that. It went back down again all the way down. So that's why this right here is called an imbalance. People are not sure where they're going to play again. But since history loves to repeat itself, now let's say so we see all this happening. Look where it touched again. It touched exactly where my imbalance was. So if I was to place here in my trade, knowing that it touched again, then and there, I'm looking just for 20 pips. And there you go. What I've gotten that from? Oh, I got it just from this little candle right here. My 20 pips. So in this case, I'm looking at a bigger trade here, and we could just disregard that because I'm not looking to basically gain 100 or 200 pips. It's just a suggestion of what I just did. But what you want to do is play off of imbalances. I love to play off of imbalances. In this case, I see this. This is not anywhere right now. So the reason why I even placed that short position, right, is just to see how much am I willing to risk to gain. In this case, I'm not looking to risk a lot, so I'm gonna put it just a little bit above my actual last resistance, or in this case, the top of my imbalance, and I'm just gonna go for my 20 pips. In this case, it's even less than that. So again, if I was to place off of here, let's say, knowing that it's been touching a lot over here, right? I could have gotten my 20 pips anyway, just off this candle right here. Yeah, I would have gotten consolidation, but I didn't move any, it didn't go anywhere. And if I placed my stop loss over here, I would have gotten my game my 20 pips already. So in this case, right here, I placed it like this right here because that's where the touch of my imbalance to my last level. As you can see over here, this is that imbalance again, that wick. Now, if I wanted to place a buy over here, I could have done exactly that. I would have gone for over here when it touched my actual imbalance and look for my 20 pips. And there it is. That's my 20 pips right there. What I've gotten it from, I could have gotten it from this candle alone. So I'm just looking at one specific touch off of my imbalance where I know it's gonna go that separate way, and that's why I get my predictions very well. I learned this from many traders before, and honestly, it's been. I love this. I love the way this method works, and it's been working very well on my end. And honestly, that's just one of my methods. I have a lot more methods I could show you. Jasmine has a lot more methods, and as well as she's going to also be teaching you more and more how her method works, as well as I will be teaching you more and more methods that I could possibly use. And on top of that, just off the next video, I'm going to show you a way how to forget about this, and I could teach you what to use when it comes to indicators and what indicators I use, just so you could use and be more confident in your confirmations where it's going to go your way to catch those 20 pips. And guys, I think on my end, that's basically all I have to really talk about. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to get you guys more excited how we can get more money from just getting these just this one trade. The most funniest part is this is not even my favorite pair, Euro USD. My favorite
Yes.
pair is actually the Great British Pound against the Japanese Yen. But
Um,
in the next video, I'll definitely show you my best pair and
Chris,
why.
I did want to ask you something.
Sure.
Um, do you use your method for every single pair, or is it just a few select that you use this method for?
So that's a great question. The reason why I only use this method specifically for just specific pairs is because I only love to play off of just 1 to 3 pairs. You don't want to trade, like, let's say you don't want to use this method for, in this case, stocks. You don't want to use your method for US 30. You don't want to use this method for S&P 500. You don't want to do it for Apple, whatever you guys want to do. Don't do it with stocks. I just do it for this pair alone, Euro USD, because Euro USD loves to play off of imbalances, just the way Jasmine shows you how it plays off of trend lines. It's the same thing with me. If I wanted to place my trend lines over here, I could place my trend lines and wait till it actually moves a certain way. In this case, right here.
Yeah,
So if I place my trend line over here, you see how it broke out over here? It
beautiful.
retested over here and it went down. And what we're doing, we're looking just for specifically for those 20 pips.
Yeah,
And there you go. See, so it's the same thing with hers. Her method is beautiful too because it's just using one little thing, which is a trend line. I use imbalances. You could use either way, guys. For you people who are just brand new, looking at our video right now, I suggest that you really use something very simple until you get your own method. There's many videos out there that will show you different methods, but you have to test it on your own to see where you're comfortable at. That's why, like, even though I place so much things in my chart and it might just look like it's a lot, there's many people out there that have all different types of stuff where I'm not even me, I'm not eligible to even read what they're gonna say. Or what even reads or what they're looking at, just to see it off of. So in this case, I would say the reason why we're even showing you something very simple is because mainly for you new traders is because I want you to play out something very simple so that you understand where we're coming from. And for more advanced, videos, I'll definitely be going over that as well with Jasmine. And that's really it, guys. I hopefully you guys we're not like financial experts, so please trade on your own risk. But at the same time, I think our method is beautiful. So
yes,
please just look at what you're going to be trading off, and please consistently look at the video and re-look at it, re-see it consistently. basically become an expert on this trade zone, on this method of yourself, so that when you get there and you start making, let's say, hundreds thousands of dollars, I'll congratulate you from my end, because at the end of the day, you found your way.
Perfect.
So, Jasmine, anything else you got to say?
Yes. Look out